Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Funcraft. Take a look at this! Last episode we started the super glass perimeter fog effect thing of doom, and I have since finished it. I mean, this is just incredible. This is just looking so cool. Never mind the walls. The walls are ugly. They're really ugly, but the glass effect, the fog effect, it really works. You can see the bedrock just a little bit there, but it kind of just gives texture to it, to be fair. Now, this isn't actually lit up at all, but during nighttime, it sort of still looks glowing. Now, luckily, this is modded Minecraft, and I have this little spell from Blood Magic, which, if I do that, makes it nighttime. So, I can demonstrate without having to wait how this glows during night. So it's like, yeah, it's I guess it doesn't really glow, but then there are these weird glowing things that doesn't make any sense. This must be like an unloading glitch or something like that, but it just makes this thing look incredible, I think. Today though, we are going to head back to the main base, my beautiful house, with my secret bunker and my secret lab, because I got a little bit of a plan for us today. Man, I really like my house. I'm so proud of this build. I know that I'm tooting my own horn or ringing my own door, but a man has to be able to be proud. I mean, it's still a little bit of a mess here and there, but it's getting better. Every cool house has a printer on top of a chest. Okay, that's just how it is. Anyway, if we go down to the science lab, secret laboratory, Iskall, for goodness sake, remember that this is called secret laboratory. So that's what I'm saying. If we come down to the secret laboratory, and go down this way, I have created this room, and this is something I did on a Funcraft stream, so a few of you have already seen me create this, but this is essentially a giant mess. It's a giant mess, but it is also an ore quadrupling machine. Yep, quadrupling, as in taking one ore and making 4 ingots out of it. Check this out. So if I go over to this thing, Elite Injection Factory, and I put 1 iron ore in, that is going to, over time, go through all of these machines and then come here, smelt up, and give me 4 iron ingots. That's actually very, very quick. So the process is like this. The injection factory makes it into shards, which are then being purified into something, which is then being crushed into something, which is then being washed and then smelted into ink. It's, yeah, this machine is just crazy. But anyway, it does a bunch of things, and it outputs 4 times the ores that you put in. And I know, you can also quintuple ore. You can also take 1 ore and turn it into 5 ingots. But I'm pretty happy with this. The only thing is that it looks a mess. It looks an absolute mess. And I'm also not sure whether or not this will keep up, because you see, in order to do all of these steps, we have to provide it with power, which we're doing from the bottom, but we also have to provide it with a few different gases. One of the gases we need to provide it with is hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride. Wow. Yeah, that's one of the gases, and the other gas is oxygen. We have to provide it with oxygen. So this first machine needs the hydrogen chloride, and the second machine needs oxygen. And the way we create the hydrogen chloride is by taking chlorine and mixing it in a chemical infuser with hydrogen. So we also need hydrogen, and we also need chlorine. And chlorine we get from brine by separating brine down into sodium and chlorine. This is already confusing my brain, but yeah, that's how we get chlorine. We get sodium as a byproduct, and brine we get from this gigantic orange machine here, which is called a thermal evaporation chamber, and it basically takes water and then heats it with a massive amount of heat. I have no idea what 3.3 kk stands for, but basically it's pretty hot in here. So it's like a big chain that does a bunch of different things and provides us with the necessary stuff we need to quadruple the ores. I also have an electrolytic separator, taking water and splitting it into hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen we use in the purification factory, and the oxygen we use, or the hydrogen, sorry, we use to make the hydrogen chloride. There's so many different things to keep track on with this thing. What I want to do with this is tear it all down. And yeah, I just spent the past 3 minutes explaining how proud I was over this process. and came to the conclusion that I gotta tear it down. But no, I want to tear it down and I want to rebuild it in a proper, neat looking way. And I also want to do something different with the brine, because at the moment this can't actually process any ores because I haven't plugged it up. I think if I plug this in to my A system and start sending my ores here automatically, I think I'm gonna run out of brine, and I think I'm gonna run out of the gases, and yeah, everything will just fail. So we need to scale it up and do it in a little bit of a prettier way. So what I want to do is rebuild this brine chamber, evaporation chamber machine. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. Brine chamber from here on in. Brine chamber, okay? I want to rebuild the brine chamber in a different room, because this has a constant sort of humming noise, which is... it's a little bit annoying, not gonna lie, a little bit annoying. Now to dig this thing away, I'm actually going to equip my Haste 2 Ghost Amulet from Sliced Lime. So he's sitting on my shoulder, one of my subscribers over on Twitch that became a Ghost Amulet. And that gives me Haste 2, my little personal beacon, that's much better. What I think I'll do is we'll turn this room, this is my obsidian farm, which I want to move over to the perimeter. I think we'll turn this room into a brine production room instead. Been a very productive episode, hasn't it? Just come in and break the stuff that I've done in the past. So one of the problem with these brine chambers is that they are 4 by 4. I mean, that's just a curse. Why have they created a multi-block that's a 4 by 4? You can't have a true center with that. So to solve that, and because I need more brine, I'm actually going to build 2 of these brine chamber machines. So I've crafted up, hopefully I've crafted up at least all the stuff I need. So 2 of the controllers, bunch of these valves, and a lot of these evaporation blocks. Now, I think the taller you make these, the more heat they can hold, or the bigger the tank becomes inside. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna make them all the way up to the ceiling, I think. Now, I wonder if this resistive, I can't say the name of it, resistive heater, I wonder if this outputs heat on both of these green things. Because if it does, I could, in theory, use 2 heaters to heat both of these things. Because I could place it like that, and then in order to make this actually work, you need a valve there and a valve there. And then a valve there and valve there, because I want another heater there. And this multi-block also needs a controller, so where can we place that without it looking stupid? Maybe we'll place it there and over here. Yeah, we also need to input water, which... oh. I guess we can hide the water. Yeah, we can hide the water. So I'll place a valve, I can't say that word. I'll place a valve there and there. And by having 2 of these, I've actually managed to get a true center. That is really, really good. That is really, really good. So let's see if we can do something clever with the water here. What I'm thinking is we'll put a sink here. Sink provides unlimited water. And then we'll put liquid translocators like that. And yeah, that's going to be transferring water into this thing. So you're getting water. Nice. And I'm going to put a glowstone there and there to send it faster. And that's actually sending really, really quick. Hopefully quick enough. And then on this side, we'll do the same. We'll use the same sink because the sink has unlimited water creation, I think. Actually, I may have to double check that. So that's how quick we're doing it now. And if I do this, can I tell whether or not it's going to be slower? No, it looks exactly the same. So you can go there, and this also had some power in it by default. Now, one important thing here, and one thing that I figured out during stream, is that we can change the power value. And I think the magic number you want to use here is 450 RF per tick. So that these will drain 450 RF per tick, but they will generate heat a lot quicker. So in total, this room is going to be costing us 900 RF per tick, 900 power every game tick. We are still good with power, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there on using a lot of it. New power cell. Nice. I love auto crafting so much. I don't know why. Oh no, I forgot to take my amulet off. Oh no. Oh, that is so annoying. Magic power is drained. Oh, rip Sliced Lime. You've been of good service, Sliced. Thank you for the haste 2 you've given me. Anyway, with our power cell, the only things we should need to power here are these heaters. So, Kind of want to make sure I can access this power cell for other things here though, in case we need it. So let's put it here and then put it to out mode and plonk our link ID card in there. Oh, it doesn't connect from the bottom. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I thought I had this all figured out, all put up nicely, but I guess you need to use one side to provide it with heat. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so let's replace these with normal blocks. I think that doesn't kill the... No, it doesn't kill the contents. That's really good. And I guess we'll hide the heaters on the back here. Like that. And then I need to reset these to 450. Reset you to 450. Boom. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is getting the brine out of there and stored. Now, if you've been watching Funcraft, the streams and the videos, you know how much I love my level emitters. My level emitters are great. They can tell me how many items I have in my system, and they can give me a redstone signal based off of it, which can turn on or turn off different contraptions and systems and stuff like that. But that only works if my ME system can read items. So if I wouldn't have the andesite in the ME system but in a chest, I couldn't use level emitters, right? Because of that, I want to try and get my brine readable by my ME system, basically stored in my ME system. So what I'm going to do, I've taught these patterns, the fluid storage bus and fluid interface. We're going to put that in my molecular assembler machines. And then I should be able to request a storage bus, and I should be able to request an interface. Well, don't actually need the interface, to be honest. I just need the storage bus, so that is probably crafting up, doing the processors. And I'm gonna hide both of the tanks underground and use these mechanical fluid pipes to pump out the brine, fill them up, and now comes the magic. I'm gonna need another storage. Yeah, I'm gonna need another storage bus though, I just realized. In this side of the factory, I'm already using quite a few channels. I gotta keep a track of that as well. I'm using 22 out of 32. So I got 10 channels to play with. That should be enough, but I need to craft up one more of these. I love auto crafting so much. It's so much fun and so satisfying. What I should be able to do is put a fluid storage bus there and another one there. And basically what this will do is read the contents of the fluid tank into our applied energistic system. So now all I gotta do is connect that up there. And I also want to make sure to filter this. I should be able to do that and then click U in there. Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. That will make sure that I only ever allow brine to go here. In case these tanks would be empty and I would put water in my system, it may go into these tanks otherwise. Now, to see the fluids and access the fluids, we need a fluid terminal. So I just added that as an autocraft, and hopefully I have everything I need to make this. That is a lot of items, but we should be fine. We still have a lot of metals and that sort of stuff after we dug out the perimeter. I don't really have a good place to put this, but I think maybe we can put it right here. Where did my cover go? Oh, my inventory is full. Pick up the cover, please. Thank you. So if I put you there, hopefully I have enough channels here. I should probably check that as well. It looks like I'll have enough. And then we cover you up. And now, yeah, look at that. We can see 224 buckets of brine. So with the brine production hopefully taken care of, all that remains is to rebuild this and then output the brine from our system into the electrolytic separator. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. As far as the design of this room goes, I definitely want to continue with the laboratory feel that we got going here in the lab and everywhere. I think that's a really, really cool base look, but I also want it to be functional, so I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to blend those two together, but that doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look too... It looks like it looks like a kitchen with a very modern washing machine of doom. So the tricky thing with making all of this work, and the reason for this looking like a giant cable mess, is because some of the machines, or these machines specifically, you can't alter where things go in and out. So for example, this thing, the chlorine always needs to come in from this side, and the whatever the other thing is, hydrogen, always needs to come in from the other side, so from the right hand side, right? And then the hydrogen chloride, which it makes, needs to be plopped out in the front, and I can't really control the orientation of that. And for that reason, the same with this thing outputs the chlorine to the right, so this basically needs to sit next to it in order to make the things, and then it needs to output to the front. Yeah, this is gonna be This is going to be a little bit tricky to make pretty. Getting this to look good when we can't change the input and output of these machines is just a nightmare. But I think I've got something that may look okay. So we're going to have, this is our hydrogen chloride, our final product. That's going to be stored in the center. And you will be sent through a gas tube from there. Now this needs chlorine and hydrogen. This guy will provide hydrogen to the left, and it will provide oxygen to the right. Oxygen, which we also need. So that's all sitting good. And then this guy will be sitting here. And this is what takes the brine and breaks it to sodium and whatever this thing needed. Chlorine? Chlorine? Chlorine. Now the only problem with this is that it's 4 wide and not centered. So what I thought we could do is we could simply just save this sodium in another gas tank. I don't know if we're going to need it, but we could do that. Now one very important setting here is that these needs to be set to dumping excess. So whenever it's finished, it's not just going to halt operations. Actually, I only want that with the sodium. Yeah, because otherwise it's going to continue to burn through our brine once we send it brine. And this guy, yeah, that guy is fine. This guy, though, needs to dump the hydrogen. Yeah, hydrogen. Anyway, next up, we need to provide this guy with the brine that we have now stored through our applied logistics system. So we should be able to do this. This is a fluid export bus, so all I need is a bucket of brine. Should be able to just snag from here and configure you to be exporting brine, and hopefully you can receive from the bottom. Yep, okay, that did something. I did hear it start, so I think it's doing a thing. Now if I speed this up with acceleration cards, that should hopefully, yeah, that's getting brine very quickly. We need power here as well, and there's power. There is power and there's loudness. So this guy is doing its thing. These are upgraded with speed and energy upgrades. Wow, that's eating through the brine really quickly. Scaringly quickly, to be fair. But it is producing chlorine, which is then producing hydrogen chloride. And once this all fills up, the whole operation should stop. A little bit worried about this though. Do I want to dump excess on both here? Yeah, possibly. I do need to provide this guy with water as well to make the oxygen and hydrogen. So another sink. I love these transposers. They are actually very, very quick. In case you haven't played with them before, but you've played with modded. That is all the gases. What I think will, in a way that I think will actually work. So next up, we want to hook it up to this thing here. So I'm going to keep it down the line, but I want to center this thing. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have looked at what order I had them in. Whoops. I think the very first thing is the injecting factory. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Let's see if I can remember. It's injecting factory first, and that uses the hydrogen chloride, which is the middle thing. Oh, and this thing needs to be on the second machine, which is the enriching, no, purifying, I think. Purifying. Yep, purifying is the second one. And by having these next to each other, I can have them auto send on the side config. Output, auto eject. That outputs it in here. This guy's then input here, and output with auto eject to the right, and so on and so on. The next thing I want to do is the enriching, I think. Or is it the crushing? Luckily, we should be able to test it. So 1 iron ore goes in. That is correct, but the clumps do not go in the enriching. It's in the crushing. Okay, so crushing. That crushes it down into dirty, which we then enrich into pulver, which we then smelt with a smelter into the ingots. Nice. Okay, that's how we want it. We also want to make sure to put auto sort on all of these on so that it uses all of the different slots. And then we need to connect up the gases, which again, this is again going to be a little bit tricky to get right. But we want to output on the top from this gas tank. And then this is the hydrogen chlorine, expensive stuff that needs to go in this injecting factory. Now that's all well and good. The problem comes now when I want to connect a second gas tube right next to this thing. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. So far so good, but if I do this, yeah, it just takes one of the sides. I think I need some kind of covers. Yeah, we have a little bit of a problem here. This is supposed to work, to use these forge microblocks covers, which you get from a saw. to just cover the pipes up, but for some weird reason it doesn't work in Funcraft. I wonder if there's a configuration issue that I need to have a look at, and that is really troublesome in the quest of making this look good, because the only way I can make this work would be to have these completely disconnected from one another somehow. That's quite silly, isn't it? I'm gonna have to take a look at the config, but that is at least working. I mean, that is just ridiculous. I can't put them next to each other because then it just, yeah, it just doesn't work. If I break this now, is this still filled? So can I? No. This thing, this chloride always seemed to take precedence. I tried to do a bunch of different things with the configurator, but no luck at all. Anyway, this is now all lined up, so that should quadruple our ores. So the next thing we need to do is to make sure we send all the ores in to the injecting factory. So just like when we ore double, we're going to use a crate with export buses to store the ores while they're being exported. And by doing that, we can have more export buses. Whereas if we did it on this, I'd have to put export buses on the front, and it wouldn't look as good. So this can connect up to you, and then we come down here. We got to configure these guys, and we put capacity cards ×2, some acceleration cards in there. And now if we configure it to copper, iridium, iron ore, Ardite should be able to quadruple, and cobalt should be able to quadruple. Unfortunately, these are the only ores I have at the moment because everything else is processed up, but that should export all of those ores that I have into there. A translocator goes on top there, and another one on the bottom. Why? Uh-oh. What? What the? What? Do I need to put you on input from the bottom, maybe? Oh, okay. That's interesting. So that goes there, and we then put glowstone there and there. And that is processing the iridium ore. Oh, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. Now in the final machine, the smelting factory, we need to import it. So we're going to output from the bottom. And you could be auto eject. I don't think that matters. And then we're going to have an import bus sitting right there with 4 acceleration upgrades in it, and connect that up to our ME system. We're currently using 3 channels in this room, so we should be fine. We had 10 available. This cable can only carry 8, but we should be good by doing that. Now these machines are out of power because I haven't connected them up to power, so that's another thing I need to do. And now this gas tube issue is going to be a problem again. This is looking awesome. I love it. Look at all that iridium. I think I had 112 or something like that. Everything is doing a good job. So while designing this room and trying to make it look nice despite all the tube mess, I've just had the silliest idea. The absolute silliest idea. But I think it will be so cool. I've reconnected where the ores go. So rather than them going directly to this crate over here, they're now going to this quick dropper. And a quick dropper will, when sent items, automatically drop them out. And the idea is, the ores, when we send ores to the system, they should drop down in this quick dropper into this hopper, which is then connected to that crate. It's really silly. It's really silly. It's something that just adds time and reduces efficiency of this thing. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool if it works. That looks pretty cool. So now I don't have too many ores, but if I send these ores in, we should see them drop down there. Oh, that looks really cool. And then the process starts. Yes. Can you imagine what we've been mining out? A massive amount of ores. And they just come in here and go through this process. I mean, that is really cool. This is still looking super messy back there. But I'm going to see if I can fix the config so that we can cover these up with microparts. And then that will look a lot better. But yeah, that worked. That totally worked. That's such a weird little idea. I did put 3 TV screens on here, and you can actually put GIFs on these, but I don't know what GIFs I want to put there yet. If you have any suggestions, please do leave it down below in the comments. But I think it does fit the whole laboratory thing, and this definitely looks like it looks like a weird room that you don't really know immediately what's going on when you step inside. But oh my goodness, it fits the base. It fits the base so good. I'm really happy with this, and it also quadruples our ores. But anyway, that's gonna do for today. So I hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Funcraft. If you did, do hit the like button down below. If you want to watch all the Funcraft stuff, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Iskall85. I may be streaming after this video goes out, so you check it out in case you wanna follow it live. But anyway, that's gonna do for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a fantastic day. This outro just got messed up, but yeah, have a great evening. Bye bye.